Welcome back. They're Canada's most famous and beloved indie pop sister act with 3 Juno Awards, a Grammy nomination, and an Oscar performance to back it up.
Today, they're here to promote their 8th studio album and upcoming world tour. Audience, please get to your feet for Tegan and Sara.
Welcome, welcome. So right off the bat, we just...
Sorry.
What are you laughing at?
Tegan and I look like we're totally from a different universe. I was just saying backstage, I was like, we look like we're from... We look like we're from The Crow. You remember that movie?
No,
we're like...
It fits right into
Okay, sorry.
No, you guys look
didn't want to look too much like you guys.
No, it makes sense. So as we just mentioned, you guys have a new album coming out. It's called Love You to Death, but it continues to have that pop sound that you showcased on Heartthrob. So does this mean that you're completely away from the guitars and the indie rock?
You know, I mean, I think that, guitars, first of all, were, an instrument we used to write songs, so we never necessarily classified ourselves as a guitar band. It just was the instrument that we picked up to write songs. We actually were classically trained piano players. And so when we started to get into playing keyboard in the mid-2000s on our record So Jealous and The Con, it was actually a couple friends of ours who were musicians who sort of took us aside and said, you seem so much more comfortable when you're playing piano and writing hooks. Like, I'd be in there trying to play hooks on the guitar, and so they
You're no Jimmy Page.
I'm no Jimmy Page. Yeah, so we sort of tended to start, feeling more comfortable on the piano. But we're always hesitant to say that we won't go back to the guitars because I don't know that we know what's going to happen next. We're also following the trend. We grew up in the 80s. We were teenagers in the 90s.
Yeah.
And
Tegan is. I was born in 2000. I was a late in life baby from my mom.
So, we're also we're emulating our iconic influencers from the 80s and the 90s as well. So, and people are loving electronic and dance and urban and pop music all meshed up together. So I think that we're just exploring that. We have been doing this a long time. Yeah. Sarah just joined the band a few years ago, but when it's your 8th studio record, to keep your audience happy and alive, you got to be constantly reinventing yourself. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
8th album. The new one comes out on June 3rd, which means you're about to embark on this huge world tour. And we just found out you're going to be in Toronto for the 2016 iHeartRadio Much Music Video Awards. Looking forward to that. But I'm curious to know, world tour, a lot of traveling. What are some of your essentials? You can't travel without them.
Oh my goodness.
Sarah?
Yeah.
Number one.
It doesn't really work if Tegan isn't. I mean, I'm pretty popular, but Tegan really. No, I think, we've gotten pretty good at it because we've been traveling for so long. I actually think that there's a tendency to overpack, but to me, it's about having those 4 or 5 outfits that you're going to wear over and over and over again, and they have to be pretty durable. And
entertainment, books, television. There's a lot of downtime, a lot of sitting around.
The good thing I think about us and traveling is that wine is available everywhere. You don't have to bring it with you. Different types. It's amazing. You can get so many different types of wine everywhere. So it's just... Toothpaste, you should bring your own. You never know if they're going to have Tom's in, whatever, like St. Louis. But wine, you got it. It's fine. So.
Okay, let's talk about the song Boyfriend. Because, Sarah, I heard that it was inspired by one of your relationships, an experience you had.
Yeah, I am still dating the same person that the song is inspired by. We've been together for 5.5 years.
Okay.
That's big for Sarah.
It's probably winding down. I don't know. Anyway, so when she and I started dating, she would sometimes teasingly, I would call myself her boyfriend. I would be if I did sort of very gendered things, we teasingly would say like, oh, you know, I'm taking the garbage out like your boyfriend, you know, or whatever. And I think it's sort of a way for me to poke fun at these gender norms and these ideas about, you know, relationships. And the song in general, though, is really just about that moment when you really start to feel like the relationship should be more substantial, and you feel, you know, like you want to make it exclusive, and
You want to lock it down.
you want to lock it down, you know. And so for me,
you want to get cats.
yeah, you want to get. No, I did get cats eventually, which was a mistake.
Yeah.
So that's the next step.
Like most people who decide to take it to the next level with children or animals, we've regretted it ever since we did it.
People don't regret their children.
Oh.
Whole new topic.
I love everything you're saying about
thanks.
gender and about sort of like the boxes that we put ourselves into. And I'm thinking of those songs that we've become familiar with, like Demi Lovato put out a song, Cool for the Summer, and Katy Perry came out with I Kissed a Girl. So I'm curious about how you feel, and you're actually going to be touring with Katy Perry.
Oh, we already did tour
You already
with her.
did tour with her. So I'm curious how you feel about when the straight girls sort of dabbling in the sort of like bending.
I don't mind a little dabbling. Like, that's fine.
I think. What am I doing? Yeah, I think that
Dabble away is my motto.
yeah. Yep. I mean, I don't know if there's anything to add to that. Really. No, I think that we're always really, I mean, honestly, we've been in the industry a long time and things have changed a lot. And without getting, I know this is more of a light show, so without getting too into it, it's just the world has changed a lot. And I think there was a time early in our career where we never thought that a openly queer band like us could end up on a stage with Katy Perry. And so much has changed and we're really proud of what we've accomplished. And it has, but it has taken artists in the mainstream who aren't necessarily queer talking about it to open those doors. And yeah, I think a lot of people are coming out as more like, you know, bisexual or talking about these experiences.
Fluid,
Fluid is the new word.
Worst word, though. I
Worst
hate that
word,
word.
No,
It conjures up such upsetting.
yeah, we'll get over it though.
Yeah.
But I love it. I think it's really cool, and we feel really excited. And you know, the idea that we have this like incredibly bombastic summer single called Boyfriend, but about something so intense and deep and dark and different. It feels really exciting. Like 2016 is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And Sarah, and you said in the beginning too, Sarah, that you were hesitant of talking about the fact twin sisters that are gay. How has that changed for you now? Are you completely fine with speaking about it?
Yeah, I think in the beginning of our career, you know, the things that people were most interested in was our relationship as twin sisters, and then our identity, you know, as being out and gay. And it wasn't necessarily that I didn't like to talk about those things. It was that I often felt like those things were talked about in a very surface way.
Right.
Or we were really put in this position where we were having to like educate people or be like, no, we can't feel each other's pain, or like silly dumb things where we were like, it made us feel like someone over there was like, they were gonna ask that
They asked that question.
Yeah.
The hand goes down.
They're like, so you don't feel each other's pain, or yes or no, 20% of the time. But no, I think it was, for us, it was more about like, we didn't want to be seen as like a novelty, and these things were so deeply important. Our identity was so important to us, and we were still developing and figuring things out. We were young. So now, as older women,
Sorry. I'm so sorry. I want to switch seats with somebody. I don't want to be in a band with that older woman, Sarah.
as mature young ladies, we're really excited to talk about these things. But I also think that's because the cultural language has increased, and it's more interesting for us to talk about these things now. Our relationship as twin sisters, it's less goofy, and people are actually very interested in our dynamic and how that's changed. So yeah.
So you guys performed the hit song from the Lego movie, Everything is Awesome. Then you took that to the Oscars. You performed at the Oscars.
Yeah.
On
It's like I get PTSD.
So I was there that night, and I saw you guys on the red carpet with E-Talk. We named you one of the best dressed that night because your outfits were amazing.
We look like we're from the throw in that picture.
So when you look at yourselves at the Oscars, what are your memories of that experience?
I'll be honest, I mean, we both are highly anxious people, and I think that it was the second it was over with, when we were still standing on the stage out of breath, being like, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever, but I was quite anxious leading up to it. It was very scary. It's a big audience. I love being in a band, but I felt like I would wake up in a cold sweat every single night. I felt like I couldn't eat. And it was hard because people around us were like, isn't it so cool? You're so here to be on the Oscars. And I would be like, I had like nightmares and anxiety. It's like, you know, the world is so crazy and social media. I was like, what if people hate our performance? What if Sara gets kicked in the head by one of the dancers? Like,
It was very close. There were a few.
And honestly, it's like I blacked out. I barely remember the performance other than just grabbing Sara every time the camera wasn't on us and being like, dodge a dancer, don't get hit. And at the end, I was just like, yeah, looking at Oprah, being like,
Did I do it? I do it? Well, you guys looked amazing. That was an amazing performance. We thank you so much for joining us today. This has been so much fun. Don't forget their album, Love You to Death, hits stores on June the 3rd, so make sure you pick it up.
Thanks. And remember, you can see Tegan and Sara perform at the 2016 iHeartRadio Much Music Video Awards live Sunday, June 19th at 9 p.m. Eastern on Much and on CTV. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back.